Okay, so say hi, I'm Lisa George. I'm a 60 scoop survivor, and I've lived in Saskatoon for the last 25 years. So I'm currently an off-reserve band member. As a 60 scoop survivor, I was removed from the reserve when I was a tiny tot. I was raised in Pinnell, Saskatchewan by a single parent. She was a teacher. I also want to say that, I want to thank my nominators. I want to thank my nominator, Randy Sangways. I don't see him here. And I want to thank my seconder for seconding my nomination, Vern Acus. Thank you for believing in me and seeing some potential in me enough to get me up here. Something that's important to me, and I think is important to have in leadership, is education. I myself have my grade 12. I have a management studies diploma from SIT. I have a business systems diploma from CDI. With my education, I was employed. My previous work experience includes working at the Federal Council, which is actually just a couple, when I worked there, it was in the Aver Tower, which is just 2 blocks down the street. It's a white building. So I worked with the federal government, so I have a little bit of understanding of how that works and what goes on and which departments are where and what they do. And I also worked at the Saskatchewan Wheat Pool before it disappeared. I don't even know where it went. But I worked there, and I worked in the Human Resources Department, so I know what it's about to staff people and put people into proper positions that suit their education and where other departments they've been in. These last couple of weeks have been kind of busy, but I know that I've talked to off-reserve band members. I'm an off-reserve band member, so I know what it means. I know what it is to not have communication with the band office, with counselors, to know what their portfolios are. I am with you when you say that you don't know what counselors have what portfolio. Being honest, right now I don't know what counselors have what portfolio. I'm just like you all. I don't know what they do. We don't hear. We don't have enough communication. And leadership needs to remember that we voted them in there. Leadership works for us. We deserve to know what they're doing, be it on a monthly basis, a quarterly basis, semi-annually, but the lines of communication need to be open because we deserve to know what they're doing on our behalf. I also want to say that being an off-reserve band member and not being provided information as to what's going on, in my opinion, is a disrespect, and we don't deserve that. I'm not meaning to step on any toes, but I'm just telling you my truth and what I honestly feel. But we need to have open communication. And if I earn your votes and if I do happen to win a seat in council, I want to open communication because we deserve it. We deserve to know what's going on because off-reserve band members are just as important as the ones on. Off-reserve membership far exceeds on reserve membership. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was cows and plows. It's coming. I don't want to say when or how and the formulas for getting it, but we deserve to have a collective voice on how much we're going to get. But with that being said, I would like to introduce a little bit of financial literacy to membership on and off reserve, because that's a whole lot of money, and for some people, mismanaging that money, it's gonna have some bad effects. And to be honest, to be straight up, without financial literacy, we could lose some band members. And I know for a fact, just sharing some small financial tips can help people in the long run, and that's what that money is for. I know for myself personally, I had a 3-minute conversation with one of my nephews who had his settlement. I'm not sure which one it was, but I gave him one little small financial tip about saving money. He was 18 years old, and he took my advice, and he had tucked money away for himself. All of a sudden, everybody was broken out of money, but him, all of a sudden he had $5,000 when everybody else was broke. And that is something that is so easy to teach everybody. But I would just like to introduce a little bit of financial literacy to our band members, both on and off reserve. And it's easy enough to do. It's a letter, it's an email, it's a post, anything like that, just to get some little bit of wisdom out there to help us. Another thing I want to talk about is the drug and alcohol abuse on the reserve. It's something that's very close and important to me. Some of you might know that my family were active users, and I did what I could to help. Some of you know my late brother Cheese. I personally detoxed him in my home by myself. Everybody's worth the effort. The guy was educated. He had a certificate in IT. He had traditional knowledge. He had teachings. He was important. Drugs and alcohol abuse is one of the, it's not our way. We weren't taught that. That's the white people brought to us, and that's what's bringing us down. On a personal note, I want to share that one thing that I don't know how to say, straightened my life around and really took an impact on me was my niece losing her mother. That was the hardest thing I ever had to do, was to help my niece bury her mother. And I always swore I would never do that to my kids. And that made me dummy up. But I know there's drug and alcohol, or there's drug dealers on the reserve. And when I talked to on reserve membership, they asked me, what am I going to do about it? I said, call them out. Whatever you got to lose, if they're your family members, that's okay. Call them out. It's not okay, because we're gonna lose people, and it's not okay. I also wanted to say that our band office and the band office administration needs stability. The high rate of staff turnover is not okay. Programs could have been implemented had we had consistent staff, and that's not our fault. That has to do with the leadership. But I just want to say thank you for again, nominating me, for listening to me. I'm an off-reserve band member. I know what it is. I live it. Thanks for listening. And like I said last night, y'all have 7 votes. I only want 1. I won't let you down. Accept.